Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut, host of Helping the Brave, and let's bring in our guest today, Jerry Clark. How you doing today?
I'm great, Ed. Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome.
Accent, are you in Texas or was from Texas?
West Texas.
Gotta love that landman that's going on right now, that show.
He's a hoot, isn't
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's exactly what the characters are like. There's,
he? It's pretty close.
yeah.
It's pretty close.
I mean, yeah, and then the things they say and everything else. It just was a really good show. It's amazing that guy who is creating all those shows that are on Paramount is just amazing. Ever since Yellowstone and everything else, he's just it's like. Anyway, I'm glad he's there because I like every one of his shows.
No doubt.
All right, but enough about him. Let's talk about you, Jerry. What's the question I always ask? What service and why?
I joined the Marine Corps back in 1966. I think part of it was influenced by some of the books I read as a kid. The Sands of Iwo Jima, Guadalcanal, and Joe Foss, Flying Marine. All those really influenced me. And before I went into the Marines, I met up with a young man who was a Marine and was getting ready to go in to the Bay of Pigs in Cuba. I guess that was back in the mid 60s, early 60s. And he really influenced me. His discipline, his love for the Corps, his strength, and everything about him was just, it spoke Marine to me. So that's where I was headed. I knew it.
And did you go in as enlisted?
Yes.
Okay.
I was working in Oklahoma and I was called for the draft. And when I got back home for Christmas, I called the draft board and they said, yeah, we're looking for you. And so I called three of my buddies who were enlisting in the Marines and I went with them and we all four went in on the buddy system.
Gotcha.
In 1966.
Wow. I mean, that's, I know it from being in the Navy side, but I was Green side, as a corpsman. So I tell people I relate more to Marines than I relate to Navy people. So
I can understand that. And, there was nothing finer than knowing we had corpsmen right there with us. And your profession was amazing. I mean, you gave us so much.
Yeah. All right. So, how long were you in for?
2 full years.
Well, back then that was a lot. So,
well, my friends were going in for 4 years. They wanted me to go in for 4 years and get aviation guaranteed. And I asked the guy I was talking to, what's the minimum or what are the numbers? He said 2, 3, or 4. And I said, I'll take 2. And if I like it, I'll stay. And if I don't, maybe I can get out. So that's kind of my reasoning.
And what did you do while you were in?
I was a grunt, 0311 with 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines.
And where did you go? Or didn't you go anywhere?
Yeah, the first few months, well, I went to Vietnam, of course. And the first few months, I was in Da Nang and then at Khe Sanh before the big battle of Khe Sanh happened a year later. I was there for about a month, and then we went to Okinawa to retrain on M16s. We went over the M14s. And then when we came back, we were on a helicopter ship, USS Okinawa, and we pulled operations off the helicopter ship going inland. All of our operations were in the I Corps, a lot of them up around the DMZ. And we were out, I think I participated in 16 operations, and we were out from anywhere from a few weeks to probably 4 or 5 weeks. But we did get some restitution to get back on the ship, get hot showers, hot chow, and all the good things that the Navy had to offer.
Yeah. So those amazing showers you get to take on. I was never on a ship. I got lucky. When it was my turn to go to a ship, they asked me, you have a choice of ship or a specialty school. And I said, well, that specialty school is not on a ship. And they said physical therapy. And I said, that's exactly what I want to do. Everybody laughs at me, but it's like I joined the Navy because they guaranteed me to be a corpsman. And the worst part was when I got stationed at Camp Pendleton at the hospital, they sent me downstairs to do computer stuff because I had a background in computers. And this is back in the 80s. So there really wasn't real computers back then, but they, and then after being down in medical mobilization and planning and dealing all the stuff with readiness teams and out in the field all the time with you guys and everything else with what we were doing with it was perfect. Then I went to physical therapy school and in Fort Sam, Houston, Texas. And then I went back to Camp Pendleton and stayed there the rest of the time and pulled duty as ambulance driver for all the different places. Picked up all your Marines all the time.
So, yeah, that's good duty.
It was, but I saw a lot of things, even though,
sure.
Yeah. And I tell everybody, I mean, not everybody goes to combat, but everybody deserves to be looked at and taken care of because you signed on the line. So
I agree totally with that, Ed. I certainly agree with that.
I mean, some of us, I saw a lot of things that normally you don't see, even in combat. So
no doubt.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on from that. It's not about me. It's about you today, Jerry. All right. After you 2 years in the Marines, and so you're always a Marine. Once you're in the Marines, you're never a former Marine that was a Marine. You're always a Marine. I do know this. And it's funny how many times I see people say former Marine. I'm like, no, they're never a former Marine. They're always a Marine. So when you got back after your duty, so when you got out, you were just like, I did my 2, I'm done. Okay.
Yes. I got back in late September of 67 and got out in January of 68. So I was stationed at El Toro out in California.
Which isn't there anymore. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. El Toro went to, everybody from El Toro went to Miramar. So the Marines took over Miramar a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I did Volkslofts at the El Toro. That's a run through the mud and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
When I was at Camp Pendleton, we'd go up there at our physical therapy team would go and do the Volksloft, and the Navy SEALs would cheat and run along the sides and not get in the mud to win it. You laugh, but that's what they did. Yeah, we'd be all muddy at the end because it's what we were there for. And they're like, we won, but we're not dirty.
Had time to take a shower and clean up.
Yeah, probably, because they were done by then. They just had fire trucks with the hoses to clean you off. But yeah, El Toro, I mean, the things that in California, we lost so many bases, during the 80s and 90s when they're shutting everything down, just because they think we didn't need them. And it's too bad because we could use those.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
All right. So when you got out, did you go back to, so I didn't even ask, when you joined, were you in Texas, West Texas?
Yeah.
Okay.
San Angelo, Texas is my hometown. And I went back to San Angelo when I got out.
Okay. And so when you got out, did you have a plan? Did you have a purpose? Because I know most vets, when we get out, we lose our purpose. We lose what our plan is, but it's also different. I mean, we've been in a 20-year war that just closed, and I don't want to get into how we left it the same way that we left Vietnam, because that's exactly what we did. And I don't know if you've on Apple TV, there's been a documentary about Vietnam. Have you seen it?
I don't think I have.
I think everybody should see it because it looks at both sides, and you realize the Viet Cong had no idea why we were there. Why we were invading their country.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. The suffrage that those people, the Vietnamese, went through, they had to be our allies when we were there, and the BC allies when they were there. And, a lot of them lost their lives because they did things for us, or we did things, or they did things for the VC. And, terrible time for those people.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with Afghanistan, where the people who helped us, if they weren't out of there, they were, because I know a bunch of guys who went back and got a lot of people out, and helped them get out. But, then I won't get into this whole thing because there's this recent thing about vetting people coming in our country. But because we fight so many things and what we see, everybody needs to be vetted. And if you can't vet them, then they need to be somewhere else for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, because we go fight somewhere else and then we let them in here, and the next thing you know, we don't have an idea. Our country's too big to allow that many people in because they're going to do stuff. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt.
So so when you got back, what did you do? What was your plan?
Well, I wanted to go back to college, and I wanted to get married and have a family, and I did both. And I wanted to be the best dad in the world and the best husband in the world, but I was so ill-equipped, Ed, that I was rotten at both of those. And after 13 years, my first marriage failed because of the training I had in boot camp and ITR, and then in the things that we went through in Vietnam is all about control and being right, and taking a high ground, and never losing, whether it was an argument or any kind of battle. And I took that into relationships, and it was horrible for the ones that I loved. And it was just a blind spot for me in that I didn't see what I was doing to push the people I loved away. I think so many veterans suffer from that same thing when they come home.
Do you
We
think
try
that's
to,
still the way it is in the service?
well, I think for the most part, it's a little bit different. I think there are opportunities for some of the veterans coming out now to have some sort of de escalation. We were trained to kill and destroy, and then when we came home, we were just turned loose.
Right.
And that mentality just kind of hangs on, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense, because even to this day, because I was president of my Rotary. So God, it's been 3 years now, and I had a bunch of people come over from different things because it was all about veterans my year in Rotary, and he was incarcerated for 23 years. After being in the Marine Corps for 10 because of some stupid thing. But then he created a program that for veterans never to be reincarcerated again. He says the problem is with PTSD, you're going to kill yourself or go to prison because it's the same thing. And so he created a program. And one of his things is, you can find that he has a TED Talk out there. He talks about how you can take a Bradley, paint it yellow, tell it's a school bus. It's still going to go down the street, ripping up the street, because it doesn't know it's a school bus. It's a tool of war. Well, it's exactly what we are. We need we have a boot camp in, we need a boot camp out, and we still don't have that. And what I don't know if you've listened, but I do I've done 2 fire walks for vets in the last 2 years. We got another one coming up in 26, and it's going to be after Veterans Day. I just want it closer to Veterans Day and earlier in the night, to where we can walk around 5:30 where it's dark, where before we had to wait till 8:30. Summertime, you have to wait till it's so late and people get so tired of waiting. And so that's why we're changing it.
Good.
But because of that, just the stuff I've seen, and I saw from that, a bunch of other people telling me the same thing, that it's not ready, and I'm not putting it out there trying to promote it, but a Civ Ops Academy, which is the 6 things that we lose when we get out of the military, how to keep those things connected. And it's a whole thing about that. I have not built it out. I've not done anything. I built the website. That's it. Because I had this idea, and I'm like, I got to get it out before I forget my idea, and it's not there. So I created the idea, and eventually I'll get it going. So,
yeah. Just recently, I say recently, in 2012, well, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. Okay. But in 2012, there were several of us in our church talking about the suicide rate. Mm-hmm. Anywhere from 17 to 22 veterans every day were taking their lives. And we wanted to see if there was something that we might be able to do to kind of stem that tide a little bit. We didn't know what we could do, but we organized a group called Transition Plus. And that group, when we first started, we thought we were going to help people get jobs and help our veterans get jobs, help them get their education, help them with the VA. And, we just had grand ideas of all the things that we wanted to do. And after we got started, we found that there were so many organizations out there. Camp Hope, there was Wounded Warriors, and many other organizations that had a lot of funding, that were doing a lot more things than what we could possibly do. And our group has morphed into more or less a support group. And it is one of the most amazing groups I've ever seen. I've been in a lot of groups, and these people that come, we ask, if you want to come and support a veteran, great. If you're a veteran, if you're a veteran that needs support, come to our group. And it has grown. The most we've had in our group was a few weeks ago. We had 54.
Wow.
and we average about 35. And these people in this group trust each other in such a way. It's more like the military mentality where we have each other's back. And someone needs a ride to the VA or a doctor's appointment, there's always someone available to do that. And one of the things that we find that's so difficult right now is transitioning through the Veterans Administration
Yep.
and getting the benefits. And we've got so many people that have gotten their benefits. And we found that to go to the VA and try to do this on your own is it's kind of a formidable group because you get pushed around, denied, delayed, and it's so easy to want to give up. But when you have someone that's going with you to support you and give the information to the VA that that the veteran himself can't do, it's been extremely successful. And the idea that we're trying to do is prevent suicides. And so far, we've had, since 2012, we meet every Thursday night, rain, snow, sleet, whatever. We
Even
meet.
ice storms there in Texas.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They're few and far between.
They have been. A friend of mine lives in Houston. They have been. So.
Yeah. That's where I live, in Houston. But the idea is we meet every Thursday night. We met Christmas, we met Thanksgiving, we meet first of the year. We don't miss a Thursday, and we always have a meal. And it has been one of the most fantastic things, I think, for veterans that I've seen, because veterans need people to talk to that understand them and can appreciate them and not interrupt their story, but relate to their story. And it has really helped a lot of veterans come home, and they speak real highly of the group. And it's not because of me or any of us who started the group. It's because of the results and the benefit that they get by coming to the group. So it's amazing. And I think that's one thing that veterans need that they don't have, and that's the ability to talk to other veterans and share information and find out what's working for, the different veterans, but find out what they're doing that's making their lives better. So I'm real happy about that. And I would just really encourage anybody that could start a group like that. You're talking about, the things that you want to do, Ed, and I would really encourage you to get that going, because it bears amazing fruit.
Well, the problem with me getting that going is because I started a veterans benefit company, because I just finally got my veteran benefits after fighting for years. And it's not, when the difference is when I got out early 90s, it was like the insurance companies out there. They denied, and then would finally do it. But you finally give up by then. And that's what they want, even though,
Right.
I don't want to get into the whole SNAP program and how much money goes with that program a month. But our vets need more help. And that includes both of us when I say that. And so I finally got it. I'm at 92, which rounds down to 90, but they didn't even look at my PTSD or the other stuff. So I'm going back to get those things finalized. But it's so easy to, if you understand the process and how to explain the process. And that's why I started the company I did, because I went with a ranger who I interviewed on here, and he was a really nice guy and did a great job. But I just saw the gaps in what he did and how you can make it better. And since I'm outside of the Silicon Valley, I'm like, okay, we can make an app to make this even easier. And that's what I'm working on right now, to where you upload your DD-214, your medical records, your other stuff. It's going to search through all your stuff, connect everything. And if you don't have a connection, it'll tell you need a nexus letter. Here's a place, get your doctor to do it. This is what it looks like, all that kind of stuff. Because right now, how we're doing really well is we hooked up with a physician's assistant. We're taking care of him. And he's like, I'll do the nexus letter for our vets. He wants to get involved, do this, you know what I mean? Because that's the one thing people understand is if you don't have it in your medical record, how do you get it back to that it was in service? Well, it's just somebody saying there's a 50% chance that it was from service, which I'm like, really, that's ridiculous. It's flip a coin that potentially it could be from service. You know what I mean? It's like not even a letter guaranteeing it. It just says a 50% chance that this is likely from the service connection. And that, who wouldn't sign that letter?
Yeah.
But people don't think and a lot of these guys who help vets, you don't need the Nexus letter. We'll just write one. Well, you have to go back multiple times if you don't have a letter from a physician. If you have a letter from a physician, it's over. You don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a labyrinth to get through, no doubt. And there are some little secrets of the trade.
Yeah.
Not giving up is one of them.
Right. And there's vets who have PTSD from dealing with the VA. Being told they're not, this and that. And, and the whole PT, when we were in and got out, I'm just saying, because prior to probably 2011, PTSD was the scarlet letter.
Yeah.
You could never say you had PTSD, because then you wouldn't be able to get a job. You wouldn't be able to get this.
Right.
You wouldn't be able to yeah. Now it's not looked at that way, thank goodness, because it's just dealing with, because then, I dealt with mine by overworking and over exercising for, 30 some years. And it was, and I didn't know I had it. A lot of people don't, and I don't mean this wrong, but vivid memories where you can still know everything about what happened at that point is a PTSD, and and I had no idea. I just thought I had good memory. So,
yeah. There are a lot of things associated or that come under the umbrella of PTSD.
Right. Yeah. All right. So with the group you created, right, that you're counseling, but before we started, you were talking about you've been doing counseling for 30 years.
Yes. So
Jerry, when you got out of the service, what did you do?
Well,
because 30 years ago was only about when you were in your 50s. Right?
Yeah, this is 1968. So,
well, what I'm getting at is, you said you've been doing counseling for 30 years. Well, yeah. I know you're close to 80, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that means you started it in your at 50. So what did you do before all that?
I was in telecommunications, engineering, and construction. I retired after 30 years in that field, and went into counseling right after that. The reason I went into counseling, Ed, is because of the things that I was doing that were pushing the people away from me.
Gotcha.
Like I said, the first marriage I had went sour failed after 13 years. And then Connie and I married 2 years later, and it started going down again. And I had gone to counseling before, but not with the intent of making a difference. My idea was, what the heck do these guys know that I don't know about me? And, I just didn't have any faith that I could be helped. And a miracle happened when Connie and I were in a couples group, and there were probably 6 or so couples in that group. And it was a 2-hour group, and the women in that group didn't like me a bit. In fact, they called me Mr. Right, Mr. Perfect, Mr. Know-It-All. And I, needless to say, I didn't like them either. But they broke me down. They liked me, but they didn't like the way I acted at times. And I finally got that message that I didn't have to be in control. I didn't have to be right. I didn't, when I made the ones I loved right, they felt great about themselves and me. When I made them wrong, they felt terrible about themselves and didn't like me either. But it was really a transition for me at that point. And that's when I just really got the idea that I know too many Jerry Clarks that are suffering from the same thing that I was suffering from, I was right. I was proud, but I was lonely. And I thought, I want to go back and get an education, because I just wanted to help others see what I finally could see. And it's been an amazing trip since then. I can't imagine the 30 years I spent in telecommunications. I don't even, think that is part of my life. But the last 30 years that I've been doing counseling has just been marvelous to meet the great people that really come to want to make a difference in their lives, and to be able to help point them in some direction that they can't see is just been amazing.
So, because my dad worked for Ma Bell, so not everybody understood that, right? We'll tell you how old you are if you understand that. In Colorado, and then we ended up moving to California, and he didn't work for them anymore. But it was just that whole telecommuter industry was huge. I'm sure it is today, but it was even bigger back then, I'm sure. So
yeah, it was huge, no doubt. I moved to League City, where we currently live, just south of Houston, back in probably the late 80s, or late 80s, and there were about 500 people that reported to me at that time. And right now, I bet there are 20 people that do all the work that we did, simply because the landscape has changed. There's no more landlines. It's all cell, and it's all um, video, or fiberglass or fiber optics.
Right.
And so it's just changed so drastically, and the people weren't needed. So anyway, I was glad to get out of that because it's all changing at that same time. And to be able to walk right into what I'm doing today in private practice has been a miracle.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's happening right now with AI and everything that's making changes.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said the other day that they said it's like, it's like a steam engine. You put the steam in there, you got power out of it. Now you have AI. It's going to do the same thing. It's just how are we using it? It's not going to destroy everything like everybody thinks it's going to. It's going to get rid of some jobs, just like what happened in telecommunications. Other things are going to come up. You just have to roll with it. And yeah, I've been really involved with that, even though I'm like, I do so many other things, and it's like, I've created probably 7 different apps in the last 3 weeks. So
wow, good for you.
But the thing that you can't do is like the one I want to build. I can't build the whole thing in Vibe coding. It has to be done, part of it through other coding, just because of how everything is right now. But give it another year, you'd be able to. Yeah. Cool. All right. So Jerry, so you do a lot of counseling. What are you looking for people? Are you trying to help people still? What, or are you going to retire now?
No. My wife asked me, when I'm going to retire, and, I love what I do. I get here in my office about 8 a.m, and I take the last appointment at 4, and I get to talk to some of the finest people and offer some great things for them to make their lives better. I work with kids, couples, individuals, and I just don't see me retiring. My saying is I'll probably go out of here feet first because I enjoy this so much. And, it's just, there's a lot of stress and struggle at times, but for the most part, there's a lot of good things that happen here. So I'm not even thinking about retiring right now.
Yeah. Well, it's like me with podcasting. My wife asked me how I do it, and it's because I enjoy interviewing people and talking to people. And I don't even have to leave my house to do it if I didn't want to, because my studio used to be at my office, but I moved it to my house, I don't know, 2 years ago, just because when my book came out, I got tired of being down there early in the morning and late at night. I'm like, okay, we're moving this into the 3rd bedroom, which I call a studio now. So
good. Yeah, that makes it handy.
Yeah, that way I can come in here, do a thing, and then go have dinner, or whatever. Yeah. But the bad part about it is, and then I have an office. I just go down there only once a week, just because unless I have to meet somebody for some reason for my mortgage company. And then I have this other company that I started that gets really going this month in December, because my business partner, he's just finished his master's. This on the 5th, he'll have just finished it. So, yeah. All right. So Jerry, how do people find you? And what is your perfect client that you look for, or do you just help everybody?
I look for anybody that wants help.
Okay.
Anybody, whether they're, regardless of their struggle. I work with people who struggle with alcohol and drugs. I'm not a specialist, but I do have quite a few clients that way. I work a lot in relationships. There's so many marital relationship issues that come up. There are issues with adult parents or adult children and parents, and there's just, relationships seems to be something that we're forever involved with, but we don't have any kind of education to help us work through relationships or know how to do healthy relationships. And that's kind of what I like here, because I see people who are just unaware of the opportunities they have and keep challenging their partners or the other part of their relationship the same way, getting louder, meaner, harsher, trying to make a change instead of trying some things different. So I don't know that there is a perfect client. My work is like a box of chocolates. I never know who's going to walk in the door, and that's what I love about it. It's just being able to provide alternatives. When I was in school, there were a lot of people that were much smarter than I and did a lot of things that I couldn't do. But I really have been equipped over these many number of years that I've been around to know what life situations are and be able to offer things that people can't see that can help change their lives. So the perfect client is the one that walks in.
Right. And the one thing about us veterans, we never ask for help. So what we're saying is go get the help and I always tell people, if you're under fire, you'd ask for air cover. So what's the difference? So
exactly. Yeah. Good point. It's a great point.
You wrote a book?
I did. It's called Blind Spots in Relationships. What I don't know about myself. And this book is a compilation of things that I say every day in the room. And I just wanted to get it out to the public so that more people might be able to benefit from the wisdom that I have collected here and without having to come here to pick up that wisdom. So the book has been great. It's helped a lot of people. And I'm looking forward to writing another one.
All right. And people can find you at jerrydclark.com.
jerrydclark.com. That's my website.
Yes.
And
I'm trying to get them somewhere to find you. So
yeah, good. They can find everything out about me they need to know.
Yeah. You just the only thing you got to do on your website with your book, get it to where you get the most of the, instead of going to Amazon, have them buy it from you directly. There's under now, because I don't know when your book came out, but mine came out in 2-3 Februarys ago. They didn't have it at that time, the place that you go through Amazon. Now they do, to where you have, I want to say Scribe, but it's not Scribe meaning, but you put it on your website and you can actually have them buy the book directly from you. So you make more money than Amazon does.
I want to look into that, Ed. That's a great idea.
Yeah, because that's what I did to mine, and all of a sudden I started getting these checks. I'm like, what the heck, instead, because the Amazon, it's $2, $3 if you're lucky. And if you do it on your site, same price, same everything, and you get the $6 or $7.
Yeah, and see, I don't know if they sold a book or not.
Well, you don't know who they sold it to either.
Yeah.
Because that's the difference. Now, when you do it on your site, you have control over. It still goes to the site where you do all your books, but you have control who bought it, and you can see who it is, and have more control and help people.
Contact. Yeah. Great.
All right. And
one other thing, as far as veterans go, Ed, we have a website called transitionplus.org. Transitionplus.org. And it gives a lot of good information about things that are available for a lot of veterans, including the things that we do here in Houston.
All right, perfect. Jerry, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really had a good time talking to you.
Well, great, Ed. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, my pleasure.
Good luck to you, brother.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, everybody else, we appreciate you, and we'll talk to you next week.